everyone, welcome to the Joan press conference. So to introduce Joan, Joan, Alan, and Steven have spent the past few years building their world single by single, tour date by tour date, from their debut album 2019's Porta to the much loved Cloudy and its sister EP Partly Cloudy, to 2021's High and By EP. Their songs have been streamed over 120 million times, with well over 1 million listeners a month across streaming platforms. So to introduce the media, so we have Manila and Manila, Rank Magazine, One Music PH, Soundcheck Manila, MNL Online, and Rank Magazine, and Magic 89.
Yay! Sweet. That was lovely, thank you.
Great job.
Good job! Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited to see you. We're so excited to be here. And
this is the first time we've done this kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
I like
true press conference.
It's like we're all hanging out and all friends. Just
one-on-one.
yeah, usually one-on-one. Yeah. So
cool. Well, how does it normally work? Do we just do kind of just hang out?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's hang. Does anyone want to start with questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you'll be playing at the theme park. It's going to be a theme park festival. So what are your most memorable theme park experiences?
Oh, when I was 5 or 6, I went to Disney World in the U.S. with my family, and it's magical. I love it. I'm ready to go back. We both just recently had daughters, and I want to take my little girl to Disney World really bad. So.
Whoa, sorry. Mine in close to us, like 4 hours away from where we live, there's a theme park called Silver Dollar City, and around Christmas time they have like all these lights, and it's like really, really pretty. You don't really go to ride the rides because it's freezing cold at that point because it's Christmas time, but they do like glass blowing, and like I had a baseball bat made there one time. Anyway, it's not really a specific time, but I love that theme park. It's always really fun. So
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, welcome back to the Philippines.
Thank
How does it feel like to go back on tour, like for almost 2 years of no touring because of the pandemic? How does it feel like to be back here in Asia, and what's your favorite show so far?
Oh.
Post-COVID, I mean.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was really weird. Well, yeah, 2-year break for basically everybody. It felt really good the first night on our first US tour back to like see people. And sort of, they had masks on, but like, see people at the shows. And then coming back here, I mean, we're building really good momentum here, and like it was our first kind of tours here, and then for it to just kind of stop, because of COVID was hard, obviously for everybody. But so coming back and just seeing people, I mean, we're from a small town in Arkansas, which is, I mean, we have like 300,000 people in our city. So you guys have how many here? Like, yeah, exactly. So a lot more people. So the fact that we can fly across the world to play songs that people know and want to see us, it like blows our mind. So getting back here was a priority, and we're really glad to be back for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because we basically just went back into the studio and started writing again. But when you're not playing shows for those 2 years, it's weird because like your fans just end up, you just know them online. And so anytime we're playing shows now, it just like feels like this really special thing where we're actually seeing people's faces, again, instead of just like their name on the internet kind of thing. So yeah, it's been really, really special to be back and able to play. And it's crazy because it feels like we're tighter than ever live right now, and it feels like we're just like really getting started again. So it's exciting, and it's been cool to be in Asia kind of at that point where we're like, oh, we're feeling good about our live set. So yeah.
And to answer your second question, the best show so far, they've all been amazing. the one that stuck out, we just heard from a lot of people, both in Japan and outside of Japan, that Japanese crowds are very like quiet and really respectful. And so we went to the show expecting like everyone would have fun, but in a kind of reserved way. But they were absolutely insane. It was so loud, so much energy. It was amazing. So I would say so far the Tokyo show like has a special place for us. And it was the first time we played there. So yeah, of course. Good question.
Hi. So, okay. So I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a Zoom. There was
Yes,
an online. Oh wait, what do you remember? I was the girl who wore like your glasses. They gave me glasses like other than yours. And so I wore them and I posted it. The label gave me glasses like that. Sunglasses. And then I wore it and then you guys liked it. And then you remembered me at the online press conference. I was the same girl because you guys handle all your social media, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways. Yeah, I love your music, so yes. You know, dreams come true. We got past the pandemic and now we're here.
Woo!
Woo!
We made it.
We made it.
We made
So
it.
congrats.
Thank
I'm just so happy because I really love your music.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
and I love the vibe, the happy, peppy, lively vibe, and
Thanks.
it really reminds you of like the 90s and all that. So anyways,
Cool.
just had to share.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you.
So for your upcoming album, so it's going to be released next year, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
April.
And you said that it's been a lot, being fathers really influenced the way you make music. So in what way, can you elaborate on that? Like, do you feel like you became better singers, songwriters after being
Yeah.
fathers?
I feel like, I hope that we were both good people before. I think we were, but I feel like a new person. It's like when I got married to my wife Lola, that was obviously a huge change, and you learn how to be like more selfless and putting other people first and all those things. But then you have a child, and it's like it's a whole nother level of selflessness you have to learn. The 3 a.m. getting up to rock her back to sleep when she's crying like crazy, and feeding her and all the things. But so I think as a person it's changed both of us. Like I think I'm more patient than I was before. I just feel like a different person. So I think that influenced our songwriting because we've always kind of been song by song, project by project. Like we've tried to take every song. Okay, what does this song want to say, and how do we make it sound the way it wants to, and say the things it wants to say. This is the first time that we've taken a approach for a theme for an entire batch of songs and gone, okay, what is this whole project? What do we want to say for the next year, or whatever? And having the girls definitely shaped. We just started asking like bigger life questions and what is the meaning of all of this? And we see a lot of meaning in our girls in this life, and so that you can't help but let that shape how you think creatively and just day to day. And I don't know. I've never been more proud of a project that we've done or songs that we've written. I truly will let the public decide how good it is, but like for us, it could get 0 reviews and we're just as happy. Like we truly believe in these songs. So.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like songwriting goes, it to me it feels like it's still very Joan, but it feels almost like we have just like it felt like we're watching ourselves like level up as songwriters and like just learn new things and go through. Well, our babies are 3 weeks apart, so we were going through a lot of the same stuff at the same time, and it just like the songs became what they were through that kind of last year. So it feels really, really, I don't know, like it's really special. The whole project does. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it.
Did you like change notes on like taking care of kids? How to change that?
Oh, yeah. Well,
how to make a baby? Stop crying.
They were 3 weeks ahead of our girl Roz and Ellie. So yeah, there was a lot of like, he was like, okay, you're coming up on the sleep's about to change. Like, you get used to like one pattern with the child, and then it just overnight it's like a whole new set of patterns. So I was kind of glad he was the original experiment. Yeah. So anyway,
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey.
Hi, hi, I'm Kevin from Manila Concert Scene. Welcome back to the Philippines, by the way.
Thank you.
And looking forward to your performance tomorrow.
Thank you.
My first question would be, what's your difference with other indie pop duos in terms of music?
That's a great question.
It's a very good question.
We're better. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think one thing that sets us apart, at least what we strive for, is we try to make like creative decisions. The best way I know how to put it is like all of my favorite bands, all my favorite artists, all my favorite songs have one quality, and it's timelessness. Like when I can hear a Bryan Adams song that was written in the 90s, and it still hits me the same way it did when I heard it when I was 10 years old, or whatever. So we try to approach every single song with some element of like, I want to look back on this in 30 years, and it still hits me, it still gives me goosebumps, it still makes me feel that feeling. And that's not to say other people don't do that. We really, really try to like intentionally craft every visual, every sound, every snare drum we pick, every melody, every lyric, literally everything, the entire package, to be something that in 10, 20, 30 years time we're still just as proud of, and that hopefully it'll still hit your ears and elicit that same feeling for you. I hope that's a big goal. We'll see, but that's a goal.
Yeah, I think something too for us that I'm really proud of is from the start we've always made it really important that people know that it's us doing everything. Like we do the visuals, we do the songwriting, we do the production, we do, anytime you hear Joan or see Joan, it's coming from our brains. And that's not to say that other bands don't do that, but we've just always made it really important and really like that whenever the fans hear and see us, it's us. Everything you're seeing is from our heads. So yeah, I'm really proud of that.
My last question.
Sure.
Looking back at your discography, what songs by Joan would you like to dedicate to your Filipino fans?
Oh, well, we literally wrote a song with the word Philippines in it, called Magnetic, that was kind of our, the Philippines from the beginning have been like, we've had this amazing subset of fans that are from here, and so I remember that song had existed for a little bit in our back pocket, and we weren't exactly sure how to do it yet, and we were rewriting some lyrics, and Stephen was like, what if we like literally put the word Philippines in? And I was like, wait, that's sick, let's do it.
In 2019, we played shows with Han,
Yeah.
and I was literally backstage like finishing the lyrics for that song, and I was like, I think this has to be it.
Yeah.
And, like, it just felt right. So
Yeah, it felt like a special thank you to you guys. So thank you. There's your song.
there you go, Magnetic by Joan.
Thank you.
Of course.
And
Thank you.
good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Sure.
Hi. So how has tour life been like as new parents?
Interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of FaceTime and a lot of before the girls, with our wives, you try to stay in touch as much as you can, and that connection of phone calls or texts, you just stay as in touch as you can. But with little girls, it's there's this fear that they're gonna forget you, which is a very sad thought. But yeah, it's just been constant trying to stay communicative. It's harder here a little bit because we're so far removed in time zones. I think we're 14 hours ahead here, so it's when I have to wake up early in the morning to catch her before bed, and then stay up late at night to catch her before work or whatever. So, but it's it's an adjustment, and we luckily both of our wives are mega supportive and our complete rock and foundation back home. So they're killing it back home with the girls. But
yeah, it's definitely, the time change is definitely an added weird element, because right now they're sleeping, and during during our nighttime while we're sleeping is like in the middle of their day. So it's like little 2-hour windows that we really have to talk to family, which is hard to try to figure out. But I think we've kind of found a rhythm.
Yeah, we navigate it as best as you can.
Yeah.
And then for my final question, in your opinion, what do you think is the best seats in the concert venue? Like when you attend a concert, which part of the venue do you want to stay?
Where are the best seats?
Like, are you like a barricade person or do you do balcony?
Like for us personally,
Yeah, for you
or
personally.
If we go to a show.
I try to be around the sound booth usually, because that's usually where it sounds best and looks best. So that's usually what I gravitate towards. But as a person on stage, like people at the barricade is the best seat to have filled.
It's probably because we do this for a living. I don't go to a lot of concerts, which
Understandable.
yeah, well, yeah,
Kinda.
yeah. You would think I would, but yeah, I don't. But when I do, I'd say sound booth. But yeah, there's nothing like that first like 5 or 6 rows of people just going nuts at a show. It's really special. So, good questions. Thank you. Hey.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How important is social media to you in terms of putting your music out there?
Well, we can ask our social media manager, Steven.
I don't know of a better way to connect to fans and people that kind of are listening to us in a dedicated sense. So as far as that goes, social media is the best thing that we have, kind of other than like shows and like actually face-to-face contact. Like being able to connect to people across the world, I don't know of another way, other than social media. So for us, it's always been a really important part of our band, and just like making sure that we run the socials and that we are kind of thinking through like what content to put out to people, and make sure that like what we're offering is from us, just like the music and just like the visuals and everything. So. But yeah, we run it after every show. We're looking at the DMs coming through and like talking to people and letting them know like thank you for coming, listening to our music, and so it's super important on for that aspect. There's some social media stuff that I don't know like if I love personally for mental health and everything, but as far as like connecting with fans, it's like it can't be beat.
Like every single tweet my boss made you liked.
Yeah.
Instagram, so like how many times like every day do you check how many hours you have a specific time, or only when you have free time?
Just throughout the day.
Yeah. Whenever we can, there's usually notifications to go through, whenever we check it. So we try not to let it build up too much, because it's important to us to make sure that like that people feel heard from us. So yeah.
For my next question, does your hometown of Arkansas play an important role in the kind of music and the lyrics that you're writing?
Yeah, probably in both direct and indirect ways. I would say Little Rock is it's the capital, so it's like one of the bigger cities. But Arkansas is a weird music place. Like the music industry there really isn't one. You get a lot of like local bands and hobbyists, but not a lot of like career, like trying to make this their main thing, and like international touring, national touring, all that. So in some ways it influences us because, to my knowledge, we're one of the few truly working bands in the Little Rock area, at least in our genre, I would say. And then, like I grew up on like 90s country music, and among other things. And you probably could find that in our music somehow, little elements. But at the same time, there's a lot about the music scene in Arkansas that we try to not be. Like, like hard rock, like not against it, just not our thing. So we try to like. There's probably things about the culture that we're like we don't love, that we can try to like shy away from a little bit and be something else. We've always kind of said like. We like that we are a small town band playing big city music. Like most people don't, they think we're from New York or LA or Chicago or whatever, London. but I like that. I like that you can't tell that we're from a small town. You know, dude.
A big reason we've stayed there too is we get to see so many different places in the world, and like get to tour a lot and get to travel. And going back to Arkansas doesn't feel like it's going back to a busy life. We like that it's like it feels a little bit like retreating from everything a little bit, so we can kind of get home and focus on writing and recording and everything. So I think it affects us in that way too. Like it doesn't feel like we're just going to the grind again. It feels like we're taking a break and like focusing, you know, in a different way than touring. So yeah.
I think if we lived in a big city, I don't think we're against it necessarily, but I lived outside of Nashville for a couple of years, and it always felt like you had to be on. Like, who's that? How can they help me? You know, like in Little Rock, that no one cares. Like, you know, like we have fans there, but like, it's not like
That's pressure.
Exactly. Right. No, it's zero pressure, and I really like that. I really like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
I was so pressured not to ask a question. Anyway, welcome back to the Philippines. I'm from Brandon. I want to go back to your debut album, Super Good. I just want to ask what was the process like in gluing the album together?
Hey, nice.
Because I understand that this is 3 years in the making, so what was the process like picking which songs would go into this album? Was it easy? Was it hard for you? Also, how does this album represent where you are right now in your artistry?
Great question.
Yeah.
Very good question.
I'm trying to think back, like, you know, we've always done single by single, so it's just been like focus on a song, done. Focus on a song, done. We've kind of always been like said, like, it's got to be the right time for the album because it's just not how our brains have been thinking about Joan. And we really wanted to make sure that whatever it was going to be, we had figured out Joan, like this sonically, the sound-wise, before we were there. And I think after the last EP cycle, High and By, you know, we did a song a month for like 8 months. So it was like all our brains, everything, time, schedule was all dedicated to song by song. So it was such a different process that it was actually quite welcomed to like step back for a second and go, let's just write a bunch, collab with some friends that we really trust and love their songwriting, see what comes out of that, and then see what's in that pot of songs and kind of start making, you know, decisions based on that. And Steven, I think, had already had some, like, his brain's always working visually and imagery and just trying to think through all that. So I think he probably had some of that already pre-cooking. But song-wise, we had a few, I'd say like 3 or 4 that we were like, these would go well together on the album, but let's just see how it shapes up. And I think, luckily, all of those made it.
Yeah.
I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, with the song-by-song thing, we've always done kind of putting songs into a bigger concept, so like writing songs at a time and then being like, how can this fit into an EP? Where this one was like, let's start with a kind of umbrella concept and find songs that kind of fit that world. So it was really, really fun and kind of freeing for us to write that way because we've never done that before, and we were like, let's take 6 months and just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and we just felt like we could write whatever we wanted and kind of figure out the best songs from there. So I can't remember how many songs we wrote, but we wrote a ton of songs, and we were able to just find the ones that really fit with the kind of overall idea that we were going with. So yeah, it was really cool.
What was your second question? It was
how does this represent your artistry?
Yeah.
Where you are right now?
He said the word leveled up earlier. Like, I definitely feel like after the girls were born, we started approaching songwriting from a more mature kind of way. And even Colin, our manager, kind of challenged us a while back to like, you guys do the love song like narrative thing really well. What would it look like if you kind of leaned a little bit more into like personal? And I think we took that challenge on pretty head on, and I remember we were writing one of the songs on it, and Flowers, and I remember Steven had a couple lines in there lyrically that I was like, man, that's so sick. But we were kind of on the fence. They were more like metaphorical and allegory, and like trying to figure out how, I don't know, it was a little more ethereal. And I was like, let's lay there, let's stay right in that spot and like try to think in a different way than we ever have. And so even just that, like little thought experiments internally as a band, just going, how do we take Joan and just take everything up a notch, you know? So this is a very extremely personal album. There's a couple of songs on it that we wrote for our girls, and I still, when I listen back, get teary-eyed listening to them. So yeah, it means a lot to us. Thanks. Who's next?
This is so fun.
This is, yeah, I love this.
What do you guys remember? I'm just a cliche question, but what do you guys remember from your visits here in the Philippines? Any fun memories? I remember you guys mentioned that there's like a vibe, like the southern vibe. You also feel it here.
Yes.
With the warmth and everything. So it also kind of reminds you guys of home. I remember you said that before.
Yeah. Well, the first time we came was Wonderland, and we literally flew in for I think we played a 30-minute set, and then we flew right back. We were here for 36 hours or less, which is crazy to think back on that we flew all this way for a 30-minute set. But our first impression was like, everyone is so nice, which in the South, there's like the Southern hospitality thing. That's very real. Everyone holds the door for one another. A lot of like waving just randomly at people and smiling. You know, it's just like everyone's very aware of everyone around them for the most part. And not to say that's not in other places in the world, but you know, a lot of the bigger city places, everyone's like in their own lane. They got their headphones in. They're just like, let me get to my destination. I don't want to deal with any, you know, because it's very crowded. Even being as big a city as you guys have, it doesn't feel like that here. Like it's still very warm and I don't know, it feels like a nice hug. So we just felt, we've always felt really welcomed here. So
2 things for me. I always think about last time we were here, we did shows with Han in malls, and when we would drive somewhere, the traffic would always be so bad we had to have a police escort just to like nudge through everywhere. And it took an hour to get like a few miles. It was crazy. And then also just like how like awesome and dedicated fans are here. Those are definitely the 2 things I always think of, but for sure the fans, like it's another experience, it's an experience like no other here. It's just like the fans are so cool and always excited, and they love live music so much. It just makes me so happy. So that's really cool.
I think maybe in America, there's so much music and so many bands that we take it a little bit for granted, like live music. I don't feel like you guys take it for granted here. Like you're so excited to see bands live. Like I love that. That's like a band's dream come true. Like to play in front of a crowd that wants you to be there, you know, and shows it. There's no better feeling. So.
And we're loyal. Like we're super loyal. Like if we like a band, we're like 10 years, 20 years.
I know. Yeah.
We still love them, even if like the second album, being it's okay.
Yeah, like the sophomore slump.
We still will go to the show.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Growing with your fans, it's like a really cool. It's like that feeling when you find that band that's young and then you get to watch them rise. Like there's something really cool about that. So.
This question might have been asked because I arrived late, but have you listened to like the Filipino musicians as well? How do you find them, and did you find anyone you liked?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a lot of names, but we have checked it out. I know. I remember being here last time. Well, so answer me this: you guys have a lot of American, like Western bands, like your pop radio stations. Is it a good mix of like both American bands and local? Okay, yeah. I noticed I could not tell the difference in the sound before. Like there were certain songs that I was like, is that being sung? And then I realized it was like maybe in a different language or there was an accent to the singing, but it sounded very comparable to like a lot of the music back home. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I would love to be more versed in it. So if you have names, I'd love to hear it.
We give
Please,
you a whole
yeah.
lot.
Please, yeah, give us some names and check it out.
Well, there are lots of new ones as well.
Oh, I have one question is, what are you most grateful this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it's the end of the year. We have to think about that. I'm really thankful to I was thinking about it this morning when I woke up in Manila and looked out the window. I was like, it's insane to me that I'm able to do this. And yeah, like I remember being 11, I think I was 11, and my dad, I played baseball growing up, basketball, so sports was kind of the thing, and then my dad's a great musician, and he handed me a pair of drumsticks and showed me how to do a thing called a paradiddle, this little rudiment that we all learn, and gave me a little Yamaha, it's like a tabletop drum set with little pads, you know, and I was terrible at play along with songs. And like if you would have told 11-year-old Alan that, hey, 20 years you're gonna be playing across the world, like would not have believed, you know what I mean? Like no, that was not even in my mind. And so yeah, it's just really I do not take for granted, it's not lost on me how lucky we are to have literally anyone care about our music. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, I mean, basically on that same line, like I just like can't believe we get to see so many places and experience so much just because we, you know, write songs and like play music and people want to like bring us to a show. It's just amazing that we get to travel and see so much and meet so many different types of people, and yeah, it's amazing. This trip has been like really nice to kind of be back places we've already been, and kind of it almost feels a little homey, like just to like we've walked this block before, and we were walking this morning, and I was just like, I remember this place. It's cool to like see different spots that you remember. But then also we were in Tokyo a few days ago, and it's like, you know, a completely new experience that I've never, you know, been part of before. So I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to be able to do what not a lot of people get to do. So I'm very thankful for that.
I think for tomorrow you'll be with other bands, so you'll have an idea, I think, of other Filipino artists.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You'll be with a lot of them. I think it's like a festival, so
Yeah, that's
we'll,
awesome.
we'll go check it
yeah.
out.
Cool.
So-
I hope you let us know, you know, if you like any.
Yes, totally.
Tweet it or whatever.
Got it. Yeah.
Since you already told us what you were thankful of for the year, so what can we expect from Joan coming forward?
Next year.
Next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Well,
It
we have a
should.
debut album coming out, so that's big. Should be a busy year. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have the album. We'll tour around the album. We were planning this morning about like what tour would look like and what we can do around the album that is different than we've done before, but like, you know, new and fresh things that we can do. So it should be a busy year for us, and I'm really excited for next year.
It's weird because we turned in the album, what?
September, late
Yes,
September.
late September. So in my head, I'm like done with it, you know, but it's not even like no one's heard it yet. So now we're like, in my head, I'm moving on to album 2, you know, like what are those songs gonna sound like, you know, whatever. But I'm like, I get ahead, I'm like, oh well, we have a lot to do on this album still. So it'll be a busy year, but it's gonna be good.
I'm excited for the new album.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
us too.
Yes.
Thank you.
And hope you guys come back also.
We would love
Oh,
to.
yeah.
When it comes out fully.
Yeah, we'd love to. It'd be amazing. Did I see? Did you have a question? I thought I was. Yeah. Did you have your hands? Green shirt. Yeah. I thought you did too.
You seem to love the traveling.
Yeah.
Has it given you has it improved your creativity or inspired you music wise?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think more just it inspires me as a person, which just overflows into songwriting. I guess that's how I would answer it. But
Yeah, I being from a smaller place in America, you just get, it's just like your worldview is small. Like, we grew up in a certain area with, you know, most people think the same way, you know, and all that. So just to be able to travel somewhere completely different with a completely different look and climate and people and, you know, all these, I don't know, it automatically opens your brain up to be more understanding and more kind and more compassionate and like qualities we all need to have more of. And I think all of that informs your creativity, every single bit of it. And so, because it challenges you to think in different ways that maybe you wouldn't have thought, you know, which then challenges you to write things you wouldn't have written before. So, yeah, I mean, we're just completely different people because we've been able to see the world, which is, I'm so thankful for. So, for sure.
How many countries now?
Oh, goodness.
Have you counted?
I don't even know.
Well, we've been to most of Europe. Our manager behind you is counting.
You might need to give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, in Asia now we've done Philippines, Japan, Thailand, Singapore. Is that all of Asia? Oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's not all of Asia, but it's where we've been in Asia.
Yeah.
But we've done France, Germany, UK, Sweden, Norway. If you should just Canada.
I think it's about 13.
Yeah, 13 to 15 countries, and then like mostly every state in America, if not. We haven't done Alaska. Yeah.
I must have missed
That's
it.
next year.
Yeah.
Bucket
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Alaska.
So it's been all over. So.
Is there a difference between the audiences? Like in Europe, the fans are different than Asians?
Yeah. Every place is different, and you don't know until you're there, like what it's like. I think for us, like it's all about like energy level. Like if we even if it's like a culture, a music culture that's like for instance, Japan was supposed to be a more reserved crowd, was kind of what we were sold. That was not true. They were awesome and very energetic, but even that, it's never like a do they like us or not? You know, it's like they're singing, but they may just be on the choir, or some they've all had a lot of drinks in them, so they're very loud or whatever. But yeah, every crowd's a little different. Yeah, it kind of ebbs and flows, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's just an energy thing.
Do you have an idea that you have more fans in this country, more tweets, more posts?
I think Jakarta is like, if not our top, like really close, like top streaming. Like
I actually checked yesterday, and Philippines is like second to US, and then it's Jakarta. I think.
Yeah. So yeah, US and then but
yeah, that's the nice thing about like Spotify is we can see like which countries kind of listen to our music the most, and you can kind of see where in the world it's being listened to. And, yeah, that's what's wild is there's definitely a really big group of fans here that listen to our music, and yeah, it's awesome.
So thank you.